Good morning. It's Friday, January 8th. And now that I've settled down a little bit after all the turmoil that took place on January 6th, and all the news that we could see on January 7th was about what took place on January 6th. But the Democrats took control of the Senate because they won both seats in Georgia. That's a very big deal. It's more than getting rid of Mitch McConnell. It's going to allow Biden and his team to do some things that needed to be done. And one of the things that needs to be done is regulating big tech. Now, I'm not against big tech, but some of their practices need to be revamped. There are things that they are doing that is not in the best interests of society in general. Now, Trump complained about big tech, not because of their actions or anything, but because they criticized him. They called him to task on time to time, and they blocked him. So he was their enemy. But he had no real reason to be their enemy other than his personal ideas. Now, the issues with big tech right now, the major issues are privacy and competition. Now, I worked on the computer side of something called direct marketing in the old days. That's when people ran ads in newspapers and sent you mail inviting you to join organizations or buy merchandise. And based upon the way you answered questions, perhaps, or your propensity to buy certain items, the companies that I was dealing with, Publishers Clearinghouse being one of them, American Express was another, we could target the customer's needs. And when we did work with Bloomingdale's, we knew who liked Gucci and who liked Pierre Cardin. And so if a piece of merchandise came in that fit the description that these people would like, then we invited them to come to the store and find a customer relations person, or what they call store shopper, who would help them out. And that's how you build a business. Now, I was doing that in the 60s and 70s. So now here we are in 2021, and companies like Google and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram are doing the same thing that I did in the 60s, but on a much larger scale. And they reach billions of people. And they have gathered a tremendous amount of information. And the question is, are they misusing it? Are they abusing their power? That's the question. So what can Biden really do about it and his team? The first thing they're going to do is they'll have new incoming chairs at the Federal Communications Commission and the Federal Trade Commission. Now, those are the agencies that oversee tech and telecom issues. And they will beef up those agencies. Now, the FTC leader right now is probably going to step down. Now, there are Democrats on the Federal Trade Commission that have called for harsh penalties against Facebook and YouTube because of their privacy violations. Now, we are not talking about solving simple problems here, because one person's privacy objections may not be another person's privacy objection. And so this will be a very difficult set of parameters that the new administration will try to put in place. It is going to take time to get these agencies up to snuff. And it's going to take time to replace many on these agency staffs with people who have a more democratic view of the situation. Now, I don't know how many people they can move around, since these are civil servants, a lot of them, and I don't know how many people are appointed. So that'll be a monumental task. And of course, you are all familiar with Section 230. Now, Section 230 protects all these big techs from being sued. And, both parties have been trying to change Section 230. In fact, that was Trump's major project, it seemed like, because of what they had said about him. And then, of course, these tech giants were accused of being anti-conservative. I don't know if that's true. Of course, one could say they were anti-liberal if you didn't like what they did to one of the liberal sites, the websites. But the Democrats want less punishment for big tech than the Republicans did. All in all, this will be a major fight, because while the Democrats have a majority, they don't have a great big majority. And there probably are many Democrats who feel somewhat like the Republicans do. So this could be a very interesting situation. Definitely, I think 230 needs reforms, because I don't think that big tech should get blanket immunity for some of the things that they're capable of doing. So Section 230 is something that needs to be watched. Now, the Justice Department will have a completely new look. And Merrick Garland, who was screwed by Mitch McConnell out of a Supreme Court seat, is the new Attorney General. So I'm sure that the new Judiciary Committee and the new Attorney General will be looking very carefully at either a new antitrust law or new interpretations of the existing law. And it should be very interesting, because we know big tech has money, and big tech will fight to maintain their rights to the information that they gather and their rights to use that information. And privacy is a very delicate situation. Right now, individuals can sue over privacy violations and the preempting of state rules. But I don't know how you can regulate what is to be considered private. If you want to eliminate privacy, you probably have to eliminate the collection of information entirely. And if you eliminate the collection of information, then you will put big tech straight out of business, because it's the information that drives their advertising campaigns. It's the information that drives the usage of their platforms by corporations and individuals that need to reach out to people. So this will be a very interesting period of time. And that's all I want to say for today, because it's been a tiring week with the Capitol. And I generated a couple of extra rants this week. So right now I'm ranted out, and I will say goodbye, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye.